I'm always down for one more. There are these brands that pop up and you just dig their vibe. One More has been consistently delivering fun experiences since I've started reviewing their products, and in the audio space, they've evolved into this really playful blend of premium audio and consumer tech. They sent over the new SonoFlow cans for me to take on a test drive, share some thoughts, and I'm really glad they did, because these headphones are really fun. Part of the conclusion right at the top, $100 gets you some fantastic audio performance. This company doesn't make a lot of over-ear products. I know them mostly as an earbud and IEM supplier. They're doing really well in the true wireless space. So when we see a new headphone from an earbud company, I get a little anxious. A lot of brands can stumble on this experience, even at much higher price points. Things like build materials. It's a completely different conversation than earbuds. The SonoFlow are aiming for that travel lifestyle category. Lightweight plastic casing. It's a collapsible design. It's easier to do when you're not trying to do it on camera. It's a collapsible design to save space in a bag. And immediately my first concern was headband noise. Internal creaking sound you can hear when you're moving your head or even just flexing some of the muscles in your skull. Testing individual products, it's never going to be perfect trying to compare because we have to expect some inconsistency in manufacturing. But these SonoFlow are some of the best behaved travel cans I've tried at any price. Where my Bear Dynamic Lagoons aged very poorly, they're creaky loud. The SonoFlow are quieter than my Sony XM4s. I'm very impressed with this build considering the price point. Got some squishy padding here on the ear cups and some decent passive noise reduction for this closed back ear cup design. The fit is comfy. I think there's a nice clamp on the ears without that new headphone vice grip feeling. I don't think you're gonna have to like stretch the headband out for better comfort on longer play sessions. I like the practical buttons on the right ear cup, power, and that's the play pause button, dedicated volume controls, thank you, and an ANC toggle. There is cabled playback with an included TRS cable. I kinda wish we had TRRS to support the microphones built into the headphone. Use this as a cabled headset, and ditto the USB. This isn't a premium priced headphone, but I was hoping for some kind of USB playback. We can't charge and play at the same time on the SonoFlow. That probably won't be much of a concern though, because there's a healthy chunk of battery on tap. These are rated for 50 hours of playback with ANC on. I did not test that outright. I got 4 days of intermittent listening and never got a low battery warning. You can add another 20 hours of playback if you turn ANC off. Charge them up once, play them from sunup to sundown with no breaks, and you should last a 4-day weekend with a little room to spare. By the by, One More measures battery life at 50% volume, and a comfortable listening level for me was just under that. Your mileage will vary. Now, Bluetooth 5.0. I was a little surprised to see that. You know, we've got Bluetooth 5.3 right around the corner, but it doesn't seem to impact the tech features offered. First, these can connect over LDAC, so we've got a higher quality audio signal. I also think it's a little annoying that LDAC isn't seen by your phone as an option until you install the One More companion app, but it is there, and it is good. But even better still, these offer dual connect. You can multi-pair between 2 devices at the same time. Phone and tablet, phone and laptop, pause one, and seamlessly play on the other. Again, multi-connect options are just now trickling out into other premium solutions. It's refreshing to see this on a more mainstream headphone. The ANC on tap is solid. Using One More's Quiet Max technology first found on their ANC earbuds, the goal is not the most hardcore isolation, but instead finding a better balance between reducing noise and minimizing distortion or alteration of your audio. I took these cans on my first flight in almost 3 years. They worked a trick. on airplane noise. I look like such a dork taking selfies on an airplane. Again, I would say stepping up to something like a Sony XM4 or an XM5 will come with a heavier cut to environmental noise and probably do a little bit better for incidental noise, noises that aren't constantly in your background. But I was very pleased with how the SonoFlow handled ANC. I'm really struggling to hear differences in the EQ of my test tracks. So at $100, this is very encouraging. Just the lightest touch to the mids when ANC clicks on. Exactly in the situations you would most need ANC, like being on an airplane, those are exactly the situations where those slight differences in tuning are going to be the hardest to hear. Likewise, the pass-through audio mode is natural with just a little microphone air. It's not a hiss. It's not a defined audio sound, but more of an audio presence that the mics are picking up around you. I feel the sounds are just a touch farther away than how they might actually sound in reality. Like the really clicky keys on my keyboard here in front of me. I'll take that though over a hyped sound that might magnify unpleasant audio in my environment. So I'm going to say this is pretty good. All this tech is on point, but these are headphones. So how do they sound? I like this sound. 40mm drivers rated for high-res audio. But seriously, it's a pleasant, fun consumer tuning. It's juicy where I think they need to be, but they're not lopsided. Like we've got a nice bass presence. They're lush without being fat. And that bass doesn't roll over the mids. And then when we get to the highs, I think they settle in exactly where I like them. I'm very sensitive to pop tracks that start getting brittle or shrill. I tend to not prefer a lot of sparkle in my headphones. The entire tuning consideration, these are not skull rumblers. And if you're looking for that, I would suggest maybe shopping something like the Anchors. As a brief tangent, I think that's always been the fun fight in earbuds. 1MOREs, they're juicy. I think they're a little more vibrant. The Liberties are fatter and darker. There's room to tweak the EQ on either, but generally you'll get the sound you want by picking the product that highlights that sort of performance, but I digress. The SonoFlow did a phenomenal job of pulling out some of the elements I often find lacking. Things like vocal tremor and guitar distortion, nicely articulated. One of the tests I've been leaning into a bit more, the rhythm guitar on JD McPherson is really easily lost on bass heavy gear. It was beautifully present on the 1MORE. Like, if I'm listening to Santana, I don't want the bass guitar and the kick drum shoved up in the mix. You know, you want different colors for different sounds. The lows are where we have some of that visceral fun, but the mids are where we find the distinctive characteristics of our favorite sounds. For a closed back consumer can, the stereo imaging is pretty good. They're not going to compare to any open back headphone, but I'm glad audio doesn't sound like it's hitting me right between the eyes. It's a little broader than that. I said these had some room if you want to do some EQ tweaking, and the built-in options on the 1MORE app are subtle but nicely delineated. I really don't like it when you fire up a classical preset and it radically changes the sound of the headphone. The core listening experience of SonoFlow is the bedrock, and the presets are just these small bumps in different directions. Like the bass preset, it's just a small nudge to the sub bass and decay, and that's it. It doesn't turn these into a muddy mega bass sound. 1MORE has a lot of faith in their overall tuning, but they still acknowledge that folks might want to adjust a little. Muscle car driving right by right now. Ooh, I've got a V8. And a quick microphone test, obviously not a call quality test. I'm recording this locally here on my phone, but it's a nice breezy day. We finally cleared that heat wave, real cool temperatures, breeze coming in. We're definitely going to hear some air hitting these microphones, but to see how the SonoFlow are going to handle this kind of environmental situation and see if can we pull my voice out of some of the surrounding environment. It's the cool thing about cans is we have way more room to put in additional microphones. We also want to hear what those microphones are really doing. And lastly, I just want to showcase the ambient soothing sounds mode. It's a feature I like seeing on more audio products. I have some attention issues, and there are times I need a buffer from the world around me, but even music, might be a little too stimulating. This kind of mode always gets a thumbs up for me. I just think it's a nice little consideration. It's another way that we can take audio and craft a unique experience for people who might have different needs going on around them. But I've been rambling on long enough. We should probably start wrapping this video up. The 1MORE SonoFlow. Where do these land? These headphones are pretty great. I really like them. There are a couple little bits I wish were spruced up. There are some of the techie bits that I think would look cooler if we could bump up the spec sheet. Obviously, no product is gonna be perfect for all consumers, but at $100, it's hard getting too critical when the core build and audio performance are this solid. Yeah, it's easy to find a better headphone, probably at twice the price, but it won't be twice as good as what's on tap here. And that's where I think 1MORE is always at their most exciting. I can't find any glaring weak spots. And better than that, there's performance here that takes this up against headphones I like that cost a lot more. I usually leave these audio reviews off with mostly positive words, and then I try to narrow or expand the potential audience for the product. It's never buy or don't buy, it's who do I think should buy? And sometimes that recommendation is really narrow. The SonoFlow get one of my wider recommendations. This is a very good travel headphone with current lifestyle features, very good audio and noise reduction quality, great tech, and at a solid price for everything that you get. I like this headphone. So I will, of course, leave some links down below where you can find more information on the 1MORE SonoFlow. Maybe shop these bad boys online. And in this early launch, you might even look below and see there could be some coupon codes. You never know. I'm just saying, if you're shopping some headphones, it might be worth a look. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos, and subscribing to the channel. All the support lately has been absolutely amazing. If you are checking out the links in the descriptions, hitting up my home site, SomeGadgetGuy.com, or if you're joining the list of names scrolling by on the screen from my Patreon, patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. This list is basically the coolest collection of tech pals in the universe. So I hope you'll check them out. Now, you know where you can find me around the rest of the internet, at SomeGadgetGuy on the Twitters and the Twitch, not so much on the Facebooks or the Instagrams, and I will catch you all on the next review.